Hi, and welcome to Blue's Garden. This is my August garden tour. I'm going to start with my small garden on Cape Cod, and these are some of the cherry tomatoes. That is a yellow plum that's not quite ripe yet. That has been the surprise of my season, the yellow plum. Really loving those. They are prolific and really nice tasting. These are some Tigerella, and that's been a staple of mine for quite some time now. Doing really well. The Tigerella are a nice find a couple of years ago, and it's something that I'll repeat year after year. Smaller size than a beefsteak, but great. These are my Moonbeam. I probably won't do them again. That's one of the little harvests from the Cape garden. It's got about 2 dozen or so tomato plants and some cucumbers. This is back at the big garden. I have basil that I'm constantly growing and planting. Basil is a staple in 2 or 3 meals a week, and so I'm just constantly growing basil. That's a strawberry plant. I pulled out some of the old lettuces, and I'm going to break up the soil in the pot, and I'm going to plant some basil into these pots. I just rotate the different herbs I put in the different pots. Pulled out the old lettuces. I'm going to pull out the old spinach that I had grown. And as I do every time I transplant something or put seedlings in, a ton of water. Help water it in. And while I'm here, probably water everything. Yes, I know, time for new hoses. They're leaking everywhere. These are the spaghetti squash. These are my winter squashes. The spaghetti squash, some butternut growing. It's all beginning early on. These are my Brussels sprouts that I planted early spring. They're a long 120 or so day. These are some yellow plum. Again, my favorite new find this year. Small harvest. These are some sweetie cherry tomato. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do them again. I probably will just because I like the yellow, the color. And they are a decent, but I may experiment with something. Maybe do Sweetie 100s or some other small red cherry tomato. Tigerellas that you saw earlier, early August. This is now closer to mid-August. And harvesting some of the tomatoes off of these couple dozen plants. Turkey purple back in the big garden. Those do well year after year, and they make nice sauce tomatoes. I love them for the color. Brandywine, they're a Brandywine yellow, I think they were. Possibly Brandywine orange, I can't remember. But those did well too. Got some nice harvests from those 2 plants. Probably do those again. There's the butternut again. These are beefsteaks, and I think I've got 4 of those going. And those are always a steady producer. They're great. Nice little slicer that you can put on sandwiches. Nice little daily harvest. The beets I planted and carrots are big enough now that I can just put in a little straw mulch to, number one, it holds in the moisture, helps with the weed pressure. Straw mulch is good. Any kind of mulch is good on your pots. It does keep the heat down a little and retains the moisture in the pots. And especially with grow bags, all the help you can get is great. I'm going to go through and do a little weeding on a lot of these rows of tomatoes that I have. Anything that's dead and any weeds, as long as there's no seed, I will take and compost. As long as it is in good shape and not diseased, I'll take it and put it in the compost bin. If it does have seeds, it'll go in the bin bags. But for now, most of this stuff was no seeds and no disease, so off to the compost bin. and that helps with next spring. I started seeds, and so I'm going to pop in some seedlings, just some mid-season replacement, some shorter growing times on some of these tomato, and hopefully get some before the frost comes. And again, a little mulch to deal with anything that's there, like some retaining moisture and also keeping the heat down, and some weed suppression. These were some mid-season cukes, I believe, I put in. At this point, when I filmed this, I think I still had 80 or so days before my average first frost. So plenty of time to get some cukes up. They may not be the biggest, but plenty of time. And I like to always try and put something in. These are the Brussels sprouts at mid-August. They are a long... So you'll notice in these little nodes, there are all the little sprouts starting to form. Again, they're a long time to harvest, and so plant them early, and I expect to harvest them in the fall. This is the spaghetti squash that you saw earlier. As you note, the plant has started to die down, and if you try and pierce the skin, it's pretty hard. That's how you know it's a decent time to harvest. You start to see the little tendrils around go brown. That one's a little early yet. But the other butternut squash and that spaghetti squash for real is definitely ready to go. And I will pop that out. That makes for a nice little side dish. Bunching onion. I've got a Tokyo white and a red beard bunching onion. These are the carrots, mid-August. Hope to get those in the fall. My cucumber was the one of my two disappointments. All of my cucumber were slightly odd-shaped, round. Did not get anywhere near what I've gotten in years past. I will probably not be making any pickles. I get enough to just use for the day. Yet another daily harvest. And with the daily harvests, grab some basil, grab some tomatoes, add some fresh mozzarella and balsamic vinegar, and a nice caprese. Added some mozzarella, basil, and tomato to some ravioli, and that makes for a nice meal too. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me grow, and that helps you grow.